How is it going, guys? Welcome back to the channel. One of my main goals this year is to find the perfect exhaust setup, well, daily driven exhaust setup for the GR86. So throughout the year, I'm gonna be testing out different headers, front pipes, and catback exhaust until I find the best setup for me. It's completely subjective, so just because I think it sounds amazing and looks good doesn't mean you're gonna feel the same way. But what I'm going for is something that can be loud when you want it to be, because let's be honest, it's fantastic to be able to hear your car when you're doing some spirited driving, but I also don't want it to bother other people all the time. So it needs to have a nice tone, good volume, but not be completely outrageous like the catless system was. So today, I'm actually gonna be trying out a new catback exhaust from a company that you probably have not heard of. I hadn't heard of them. It's JBA Performance Exhaust. I think they specialize more in the truck and domestic market, but I saw that they had an offering for the FRS86 and BRZ, so I figured we'd give it a go. Wouldn't hurt to try. Now, I would classify this as a very budget-friendly option. It comes in at just under $600, so it's not gonna break the bank. It has a nice sized muffler on it, so hopefully it helps to quiet things down and then it's not too loud. It's the classic 2.5-inch piping, and it ends with some 4-inch double wall stainless steel tips, so it should look pretty good as well. Now, it's made specifically for the previous gen. I'm assuming it should fit on this car as well. But what we're gonna do is test it out on the FRS first, because honestly, it's easier to take the exhaust off of the FRS, and I wanna hear it with the unequal length headers. And then after we do that, we get some cold starts, or a cold start and a couple revs. I'm actually gonna swap it over to the GR86 because the FRS is not in driving condition right now. It needs an alignment, but then we can hear it with the equal length header, and I want to try to get this car out and actually drive it once we get it swapped over, because I can actually drive this car. Hopefully the weather stays nice after the install, but that should give us both the unequal length header and the equal length header, and you guys can compare, and I'm looking forward to seeing how it sounds. After I posted the video on the quick jacks, people were like, oh, you should have went with the Max Jacks 2-post lift. Well, I wouldn't have been able to easily do what I just did if I went that route. I just had the GR86 up in the air in the garage a couple days ago, and then I'm easily able to move the quick jacks out to the driveway and get the FRS in the air. They're just a lot more mobile. But with that being said, let's get the Remark exhaust system off of the car, and then I'll give you guys a quick look at the new exhaust before we install it. Looks like my front pipe is cracked. Here, I'll give you guys a closer look. All right, I'm not sure how well you guys are gonna be able to see this, but this is the Tomei titanium front pipe. You can see right there, if it focuses, there is a crack on the weld for this bracket that holds it to the transmission. And then it's also cracked right there as well. And then if you look at the actual bolt area, the bracket itself is fully cracked. So this obviously has been through a lot, and we need to swap this out because eventually it's just not going to have this bracket holding it up at all. It's still on there a little bit, but barely. So obviously I'm going to want to swap this thing out, but for the sake of this video, I'm going to leave it on here. It shouldn't make that big of a difference. If you're an avid car enthusiast and you plan on changing out your exhaust ever, even if it's just once, pick up a pair of these exhaust hanger pliers. It's gonna make your life a whole lot easier, and they're like 20 bucks on Amazon. I'll link one down below. here it is laid out, 7 different pieces. We've got the mid-pipe section up here with some sort of resonator, 2 elbows, the muffler, and the 2 tips. Now, like I said, standard 2.5-inch piping, 304 stainless steel. These are designed and built in-house. Honestly, not the prettiest welds that I've seen, but they're gonna get the job done. The tips, however, I do like. 4-inch double wall polished stainless steel tips, nice premium look to them. The welds really shouldn't matter once we get it installed in the car, as long as this thing sounds good. I've got everything roughly installed. I'm just finishing lining the exhaust up and tightening down the clamps. Because it utilizes slip joints, it's very easy to make adjustments so you can get that fitment spot on. Obviously, I have this bumper cut, so I don't really have to worry about fitment, but you can also adjust the tips if you want them to sit more inwards or stick out a little further. You can easily make that adjustment. I've got it installed and lined up as you saw. To be honest, I thought it was gonna look funky because I've got the bumper cut so you can see everything, but it tucks up in here very nicely and looks kind of neat. I don't know, let me know what you guys think, but we're running out of daylight. So let's get this car on the ground. I'll get you guys the cold start, let it run for a bit to warm up, and then we'll get some revs. And then tomorrow we'll take this off and we'll get it on the GR86 and see how it sounds on there. The exhaust definitely helps to quiet the car down. I think the cold start peaked at just over 100 decibels from 5 feet away, but once it warmed up, idle was around 65, so not bad at all. Had a nice deep growl to it that probably would sound even better if it was a full catless system. Right now, it's a catted unequal length header, over pipe, catless front pipe, and then the catback exhaust. I'm excited to hear this thing on the GR86, so let's quickly get this thing off of the car, and then we'll swap it on to the other car. Unfortunately, I did run into a fitment issue. On the FRS, I have an aftermarket front pipe, which this system mates up perfectly to. But on this car, I have the OEM front pipe installed. Actually, it's uninstalled now. And it utilizes a donut gasket. And if you look at this flange here, it's meant for a flat gasket, so it doesn't go over the donut gasket. I should have realized this a long time ago. But if you take the donut gasket off, the section that extends out to hold the donut gasket doesn't go in far enough into this pipe for you to use a flat gasket. So you'd have to use some sort of adapter, which I don't have, and I really don't want to have to lift the engine, uninstall the overpipe, and reinstall the JDL overpipe front pipe combo, because I know that catless setup is just going to be way too loud even with the muffler. So unfortunately, I think I'm gonna have to stick with the cold start and the revs on the FRS. I know, I'm sorry, it sucks. I apologize in advance. I was really looking forward to getting you guys some flybys and driving impressions, but this is why I test this stuff out, so you guys can see how it is and the fitment issues that you may run into. I'm gonna let them know and see what they come back with. but is a $600 exhaust worth it? For me, and this specific build, no, because of the selection of parts that I've thrown on this car and the goals for the car, it just doesn't fit in. But if you're on a budget and you're not trying to do a JDM street build like me, I could see this being a great option for you because it still is going to get you a good exhaust tone. So it really comes down to your goals for the car and your budget. But that is gonna do it for today, guys. I need to get this thing put back together and cleaned up. If you guys are enjoying the content, please hit that subscribe button, give this video a thumbs up. Let me know what else you'd like to see, whether it's an exhaust part, suspension, exterior, interior, whatever it is. I'm open to your suggestions. Thank you guys so much for watching. I'll see you guys next time.